YouTube Oziko and the Goat House is back with our updated rookie rankings heading into week 4 of the NFL season. Update our top 10 rankings here every single week. This video is going up a little bit earlier for this week. Loads of content to get to for week 4. You see it listed in the bottom left. Hopefully you can join us every single week and even in the offseason. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. All kinds of stuff going on there. If you subscribe to us on Twitter, you get bonus content as well. You see our sponsors in the bottom right. Any links you're looking for, sponsors, giveaway for the GLD shop, anything like that, social media, links pinned in the comments. So to our rookie rankings, top 10 for week 4, heading into week 4 based on how they've played through 3 weeks. And we see the guys that just missed in the bottom. Sam Laporta just missed. He'd be number 11. He's been super productive for the Lions. Very productive for a tight end. Not a long list of very productive tight ends in general in the NFL this year. I do think the scheme really opened things up for tight ends, so be a number of guys that had that role that would be pretty productive, but it doesn't take away that he's playing pretty well for a rookie. So it's tough leaving him out. Devon Achane was insane in that 70-point victory for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, that one game alone was very close to getting him in the top 10. That's saying a lot, too, because we're top 10, such a select few here out of all the good rookies, out of all the rookies in general. I just want to see more. We don't want to put him in the top 10 based off one game, but it was a ridiculous game. He's a fantastic player, kind of a game plan problem. Zay Flowers just missed the cut. I mean, he continues to be productive. Like he makes an impact every single game. And he actually, after just basing off of week 1, he was actually number 1, but still small sample size from everyone. He's been solid. You want to see him get a little more involved than just kind of like screens and gadget plays. And it's not that he hasn't done anything else, but if we had a nitpick, if we get him consistently in the top 10, that could be it. This past week, the Ravens struggled a little bit. Lost the Colts. Lamar had to carry a bit, so that was a tough one. Byron Young has been very impressive as the Rams pass rusher, and then Jahmyr Gibbs picked it up a little bit in terms of rushing with that more important role with David Montgomery out. I actually would have liked to see him more in the passing game, but the Lions didn't really need it. So to the top 10, Will Anderson's number 10. He had a field goal block, so that was big. I still think his best game was his week 1 game. He actually had a decreased amount of snaps this past game. There's the Texans are mixing it up pretty evenly with a number of pass rushers. They're kind of like evenly splitting up the share. So I would like Will Anderson to get more reps, maybe play as a defender, play more like he did in that week 1 game, but still making a big impact out there. So he's just inside the top 10. Jordan Addison, number 9, continues to be productive every single game, and he had 2 touchdowns the first 2 weeks. So not in the third game, but he still racked up just over 50 yards, so he stays in the top 10. Tuli Pelotu makes the cut here in the top 10, and coming in at number 8, so the first time he's in the top 10 list this year. He arguably has been the best pass rusher out of the rookies so far. Increased snap, workload basically, getting the QB hits, getting the pressures, getting the sacks, leads all rookies in sacks, and tied in the lead for tackles for loss. So he's all over the place right now, and it's good to see him getting the amount of playing time that he's getting, with Joey Bosa, with Khalil Mack there. But then again, they move him around a bit. He actually rushed from the inside quite a few times as well, which I love. You love the versatility. They can move him around, and yeah, it kind of goes along with him at USC, where he was super productive. So you kind of feel like he was constantly productive, and you feel like he could be pro ready because of that. And he's showing that he's kind of pro ready because he's getting on the field early. But he was kind of a tweener too, because with the size and he shed weight, and where is he going to be the same? Like, where do you put this guy? But there you can align him in different spots, even if it's just slightly different alignments, and he can make an impact right now. So, he's actually, in terms of edge rushers, but again, versatile piece on the defensive line. He's kind of been the best one so far out of the rookies. So very impressive. Good to see somebody else make the list here. The next group of guys, Brian Branch comes in at number 7. When we talked about Tui Pelotu, out of rookies, he is tied in first for tackles for loss. Yeah, that is with Brian Branch, who's a defensive back. So you have a safety, / slot corner here that is tied in the lead with rookies for tackle for loss. pretty damn impressive. And we see him get play every single snap this week. Just all over the place, making plays all over the place. See him get a touchdown in week one. So I was very high on Brian Branch. So the Lions got one here. The C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a letdown that he went down with an injury, but you do have Brian Branch, and he's just going to make more and more of an impact as he's getting going. He is like a mixture of a playmaker, from all over the field. Whether it's in the backfield, underneath routes, the back end. Playmaker, but like a lockdown guy as well, just does it all. So I'm excited about Brian Branch. So he's making his way up the list here. And Tank Dell is in the top 10 for the first time. He was kind of in the just missed category last week. Back-to-back weeks, very productive. And him and CJ Stroud really gaining chemistry. We can see it. Big-time production, deep downfield, but you can give him the ball underneath as well. He can fly after the catch. He can fly to get open. And the knock on him out of Houston was, he's a little thin, a little undersized. Really isn't a huge issue for receivers these days. But mainly he did have some drops, quite a few drops. So that was kind of the issue with him out of Houston. But he's been fantastic so far. Just such a perfect fit with C.J. Stroud. And then for him to get going this early is a very, very good sign. Especially with his rookie quarterback, they can continue to grow together. It's just a really good sign. So, from Week 1, we didn't mention him at all. Week 2, we mentioned him and just missed because he's super productive. He does it again in Week 3, all the way up to number 6. So could he continue to climb here? We will see. I think the top 5, are guys that you consider for number 1. Bijan was actually number 1 last week. So you do see a little bit of a jump early in the year because we're just going off of, just a few games. But, the Falcons didn't really use Bijan a whole lot. I wish he would get more carries. They were playing from down, though. I suppose that would be why. But he has an opportunity to be number 1 at any given time because he's that electrifying. He can be effective in the run or pass game. We saw him a little bit in the pass game as well this week. Kind of a game breaker, game changer, and can be that guy at any time. Just wish he was, because he's such a good player, and you're a little limited with your quarterback in Atlanta that throwing down the field. I just wish they almost force Bijan Robinson the ball. Maybe they don't want to wear out, him because he's a running back this early in his career when maybe they aren't really to fully contend yet. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of, or because it's still earlier in the year. But at any given time, he could be number 1 because he's that talented right out the gate. But he is number 5 because there are 5 guys that are – it's a heated battle right now. It's a good battle for the number 1 spot, and there are 5 guys battling for it. And I will say – Tank Dell, if he continues what he's just doing the last 2 weeks, he can join in that conversation. And I think Brian Branch is another very realistic one to join in that conversation. Not that I'm not saying no one else is, but Branch going to get more playing time every snap this past week and then going forward. I think that's a guy to watch, to sneak up, because I keep talking about these big 5 guys here. I think those 2 guys, Dell and Branch, just on the outside, looking in to get in this crazy battle of super talented rookies. It's a battle of the best rookie this year. Jalen Carter at 4 feels like a number 1 guy. Tonight actually is pretty late in the year, but against the Buccaneers, he was a game wrecker once again. Enforcing a fumble, getting after the quarterback, making big time stops. Disruptor. He's a big time disruptor. This feels like the number 1 rookie. Again, number 5, Bijan Robinson feels like the number 1 rookie. Jalen Carter feels like the number 1 rookie. It's tough to split these guys up. 3, Puka Nacua, who has been a record-breaking through 2 games, obviously, and the 3rd game was tonight against the Bengals. And, the stats will show he's pretty productive. Stafford missed him actually on a couple throws as well. One behind, one was tipped and intercepted. And then he hit him late on a deep ball, and that's good. Obviously, it counts, and that's good. It was at the end of the game. The Bengals kind of worried about keeping them everybody in bounds and running the clock. They had a good lead at that point. I thought for the most part, he saw a little bit tougher opponent, especially when he's playing from the slot. They had him, locked down a little bit better than the guys from the slot, the defenders from the slot he saw in the first 2 weeks. So a little bit tougher challenge, and we saw him kind of, them get physical with him a little bit. He still had a really good game. So really good game there. I'm excited to see how it works when Cooper Kupp comes back. How will that work? But he's been a surprise and extremely impressive. So he is still in the top 3. Number 2 is Christian Gonzalez, who's been ridiculous for the Patriots. Another ridiculous performance. I mean, was great in all 3 games so far. Like a lockdown guy, we see a little bit of a playmaker ability in there. Last week in week 2 going against Tyreek Hill, getting that jump ball for an interception. So we see a bit of everything, the freak athleticism that he has. But then goes against Garrett Wilson. He was following him around a bit too. The Patriots like to run man coverage, and he was so sticky in coverage. And I know they have Zach Wilson at quarterback, but it didn't really matter who was at quarterback. He was locking down Garrett Wilson. He was chasing, he was following him around the field. The way he moves, that was kind of my take pre-draft. It's just so smooth. The movement, the hips, the change of direction, getting out of the breaks. It's just a lot of it like what Sauce was doing at Cincinnati. So that's kind of who we compared to as a prospect, and he's kind of on his way of having that type of lockdown performance year 1 as a rookie. So I mean, he's been corners so hard to play, and him just being this lockdown, but showing off his athleticism and being a playmaker at the same time, all over the place. It is extremely, extremely impressive. So that's what puts him at number 2. But we are going to go with C.J. Stroud at number 1, who back-to-back weeks has had a very impressive performances, obviously. And even in week 1, he didn't put points on the board, but he was very solid too. But these last 2 weeks have been ridiculous. I mean, these are things that rookie quarterbacks do not do. They do not do, especially like this early too. And it's not just, making the throws, their accurate throws, their big-time throws, putting points on the board against the Jaguars, who just held the Jaguars just held the Chiefs offense a week ago to much less. So that is enough to put him at number 1. But if you haven't seen what C.J. Stroud is actually doing these last 2 weeks, how he's maneuvering in the pocket with a beat-up offensive line. Remember, no Laramie Tunsil's not even in there either. There's a number of guys not in there. The way he's maneuvering around pressure, it's the same thing we saw at Ohio State, which is a big positive for me. Like eyes in the back of the head, the awareness is on 100. And getting the ball in time, knowing when to roll out, knowing when to step up, which I think he did a better job this week. Didn't take a sack. Most quarterbacks are struggling with better, not good, but better offensive lines, and people are making excuses for him. And this guy's just going out there and getting the job done. The timing on everything, the timing on the throws, the big time plays, the dropping it in the bucket, the deep everything, the deep throw. I think the most impressive thing is the awareness, which some are a lot of the similar things that we pointed out at Ohio State, but being able to do it in the pocket with the bad offensive line and just look like a polished veteran is just in rookie year with a team that's still kind of growing in game 2 and 3, it's just ridiculous. You do not see it. So, the most important position, the hardest position to play, I factor in as well. So, just extremely impressed. I'm not super shocked because I was very, very high on C.J. Stroud. He's my number 1 player in the draft. But it still is this early. It's still wow. So hopefully he continues to keep it up. He'll play, with a beat up offensive line. He's going to play the Steelers' elite pass rush this week, so that's going to be interesting. But C.J. Stroud's going to be the guy for a long time. You can see that, and it's just, again, he's doing so many impressive things, and he's got his teammates really hyped as well. It just feels like right now he can hit. You can take a look at him just through a couple games, and you could say he can hit any throw. There's really not a negative to his game. There's still going to be bad moments this year. There's going to be hiccups, growing pains for the whole young team. But bright future for everyone, including C.J. Stroud. There's a lot of things he does very, very well. But, some weeks I have some other takes on other first-rounders, whether they're good or bad. We did it a lot last week. Maybe not something we need to do every single week, but we do have this video every single week. So let me know your guys' thoughts. We have extra content for our Twitter subscribers. We got loads of content every single week here on the channel, so join us for that. If you haven't seen our videos, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Excited about week 4 here. This is where we start to really figure out who's what's everyone's identity. So excited about that stuff. That's going to wrap it up for the rookie rankings. It's a big-time battle for some seriously talented rookies at the top. So I'm excited to see how that goes the rest of the year, but who else enters the conversation in the list here. So, yeah, join us here on YouTube. Join us on Twitter. Any link you're looking for sponsors, giveaway, social media, pin in the comments. Going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.